Hi, and welcome to this new episode. Maybe you are wondering how to sing through your vocal break so that you can sing high and low notes smoothly without any tension. Well, in this episode, I've got you covered with 5 specific tools and exercises so that you can sing through your break and experience that vocal freedom in no time. So let's dive into it. Hi, my name is Maggie. I'm the founder of the Singing Insiders, in which I help passionate singers just like yourself develop themselves and become the best version of themselves through singing. And in these episodes, you're going to get practical tools, exercises, insights, techniques to up-level your singing skills. So let's look at what they don't tell you about singing through your vocal break and what those 5 tools and techniques are to get you started with that. Now, in order to truly get this, and before I share them, you need to understand a few common mistakes that many beginner singers tend to make. And I know I was one of them. I used to believe that having a break in your voice is something that is normal. I used to think, well, I don't have the talent to have no break and sing smoothly through my whole range. It's just something that I don't have. Now, the trained singer, they know that this is actually something that you can train. So we have to overcome this belief that we need to have a natural talent to do this. Also, we need to overcome the fear of singing on that break. And I understand where that fear is coming from, because oftentimes we're scared of letting our voices run wild and free. And we tend to hold on, and that's tension that is causing in our voice. We tend to hold on to our sound. And that is actually the thing that causes the vocal break. So with a vocal break, I mean singing, for example, and then the higher you go, the higher you tend to push your voice, and then at some point, it might happen that your voice kind of flips, and it flips into this light sound and maybe no pitch at all, no control. That's the vocal break, right? And what we want is to have a beautiful, smooth range between the two. So I went from one to the other without having that click or voice crack or break. Okay. And so many beginner singers, they think that this is a talent, when many trained singers, they know that this is something that you can train. Also, one thing that many beginner singers tend to do is sing in just one register. So one side of that break, either the chest voice or the head voice. Most times it's the chest voice, but it could be the head voice. That's something that we want to avoid as well. And trained singers, they know how to do that. They know exactly what exercises to sing in order to smoothen out that break. Trained singers, they're not scared to sing on that break all the time. And that's something that I had to learn, because I used to avoid the break. I used to avoid the high notes. And it's by singing in that area of my voice that I started to develop it. And that's what got me to vocal freedom. So let's look at what you too can do to smoothen out that break. What are the 5 tools and techniques that you can do? And I'm going to give you exercises for each one. So the first one is to actually work with slides. I love slides, and you can do those any day, in the shower, on your way to work. You don't need to have a piano for this, or you don't need to have some kind of music for this. You could do them a cappella. You can just take your voice from low to high. That's an example of a slide. Now, if you want to get more targeted practice, you could just do some octaves. So let's do that together. And we're going to use the vowel E. Now, I invite you to play with different vowels. Maybe an E will not be as easy for you, and maybe an A is easier, maybe an U is easier, whatever works for you. let's just go for E for today, but you can change it if you want later on. So we're going to do octaves, and we're going to do E. Now it's important with this exercise that we're really sliding through the whole break, basically. We don't want to do one note, E, and then the other, E, and then back to the first one, E. We really want to make sure that we're hitting all the notes in between. E. So I'm sliding in between. Let's do that together. And E. Let's continue. E. Nice. E. E. Yes, beautiful. E. E. Let's keep it going. E. Let's bring it back down. E. 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 Last one. E. Beautiful. If you do this every day, I promise you that you will notice progress in your singing, because this is such a great exercise. Okay, so that's the first tool, to use slides so that you can slide through your break. And it might be that at the start you're going to notice that the slide is like interrupted by something. That's okay. The more you're sliding through it, the smoother it's supposed to get. Okay? Number 2 is using SOVT sounds. What is that? SOVT stands for semi-occluded vocal tract. That basically means that we're working with back pressure. So sounds like a brr or a v or a zh, they have this special quality in airflow. What I mean by that, when I'm singing, there's air coming from my lungs, going through my vocal cords, and then out into the world, right? Because I'm going to do a lip trill, for example, there's a little bit of airflow that comes back into my mouth. So we have air going out, we have air coming back into our mouths, and those two air streams, they come together, and they kind of tend to like push towards each other, and my voice, my vocal cords is in between that, and that gives my voice a beautiful massage. It's an amazing way to release the voice, but it's also an amazing way to train your range and expand your range without pushing. So a lot of people, they tend to push to get past the break, and sometimes, well, most of the times, really, it's really counterintuitive, but it's by releasing the pressure that you will have a more smooth transition. And that's why these SOVT sounds are so interesting to use. So we're going to be using a brr sound for now. If you cannot do a brr, you can also do a tongue trill, brr, or you can use a v, whatever fits you and your voice. And we're going to do it on a pretty big scale that goes like this. So this scale is actually an octave and a half. Again, going through that break. Let's try that together. Keep that release. We don't want to focus on tension. Relax and last one. Beautiful. All right, so we've had our slides, We've had our SOVT sounds. The third tool and technique that you can activate in order to go past that break smoothly is your diaphragmatic breathing. Now, I can talk for hours and hours, weekends and weekends, weeks and weeks, months and months on diaphragmatic breathing and breath support through singing. My intention today is not to give you all the insights about breath. My intention today is to give you practical exercises so that you can actually put that into practice. So we're going to do an exercise, and the idea is that you feel your belly go up and down. Now, I'm pregnant, and if you're watching this episode on YouTube, you will see my belly. And so it goes up and down, but my belly, because I'm pregnant, is going to go less up and down. But the idea is that we have he, 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 ha, 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 ha. And I don't know if you can see it. My abdominal muscles are kind of here. They're going up and down the whole time. So there's this movement that happens. But again, because of my pregnancy, you might not see it as good as usual. But the idea is that we're moving our abdominal muscles. He, every he, every ha has that contraction and release of our abdominal muscles. You should see your belly go up and down. Okay? Let's try that together. Here we go. And he, ha, 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 ha. Let's continue. Beautiful. All right, we've had 3 techniques so far: doing slides, SOVT sounds, and then activating your breath support. If this has been valuable for you so far, hit like on this video. Don't forget to subscribe, because there's more tools, techniques, and insights about singing coming. So make sure you don't miss anything. But let's continue, because the most important one is actually coming up. The next one, number 4, is to use movement to release any tension that might be there in your body. So using movement can sometimes help to release tension in the body. For example, oftentimes, I know that was for me the case. I was a choir singer for many, many years. And in that choir, we were taught that you were not allowed to move. Then when I started to find the magic of just doing shoulder rolls when singing, that has changed everything for me. So we're going to do an exercise. Na 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 na. And I invite you to sing while rolling your shoulders backwards and see what that does for you. Let's start here. Here we go. And na 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 na. Na 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 na. Keep those shoulders rolling. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Last one. Na 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 na. Beautiful. So if you have some neck tension, the shoulder rolls are an amazing way to release any tension and sing past the break, because then we're releasing any holding on to, right? We're releasing any crampiness that we have around the larynx, which is what we want. That's tool number 4. The last one is actually the most important one, and that's activating your mixed voice. Now, I've been talking about mixed voice for a while, and I'll help you to get into the mixed voice world as well, because mixed voice is the only way to experience vocal freedom. Everything that we've been doing so far really can only happen if you master your mixed voice. Mixed voice, and again, I don't have the time, or it's beyond the scope of this episode to dive deep into what mixed voice is, because then this could be a whole masterclass. But really, it's harnessing the power that is in your chest voice, which is responsible for power, with the range and flexibility of your head voice muscle. When you're putting those two together, that's where the magic happens. And that's why mixed voice is the only way to experience that vocal freedom and sing through that break really, really easily. So an exercise that we can use in order to activate the mixed voice is this one. We're going to do the same slides as before, but this time we're going to switch between registers. So we're going to do ah, ooh, ah, and it's important that we're coming back to chest. So ah, you know what? Let me do that again. So we're going to go into, I'm going to do another exercise. Yeah. So mixed voice. So for this exercise, we're going to be switching between your chest voice and your head voice so that we're promoting that transition between those two registers and allowing you to activate the mixed voice. The exercise goes like this. Ga, 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 goo, 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 ga, 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 goo, 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 ga. So the idea is that every ga is chest voice and every goo is head voice. And at the start of this exercise, your voice might go all over the place. That is totally, totally fine. That's part of the training. The idea, though, the most important thing is that you come back to chest. Many singers, they tend to stay stuck in head voice and they kind of do something like this. Ga, 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 goo, 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 ga, 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 goo, 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 ga. And they stay in head voice. We don't want to have that. We want to come back to chest voice. So we're activating the chest voice and we're activating the head voice. And we're switching between the two. Okay? Let's try that together. Here we go. And ga, 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 goo, 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 ga, 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 goo, 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 ga. Beautiful. Ga, 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 goo, 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 ga, 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 goo, 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 ga. And ga, 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 goo, 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 ga, 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 goo, goo, goo. Back to chest. Yes. Ga, 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 goo, 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 ga, 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 goo, 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 ga. Last one. Ga, 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 goo, 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 ga, 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 goo, 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 ga. Beautiful. Now, this last exercise really is the most challenging one. So I invite you to take your time to discover what that mixed voice can do for you. So to recap, we had 5 exercises that you can do or you can do to train your voice to sing past the break. The first one was slides. Second one was activating the SOVT sound. So whatever fits you. Then we had breath support. Then we had using movement to release any tension to go past the break. And the most important one is actually activating and mastering your mixed voice. So now, hopefully you can see that it's a matter of using the right vocal techniques in order to experience that vocal freedom. And mixed voice is the most important one. Mixed voice, mastering your mixed voice is the only way to experience that vocal freedom and sing the high notes, sing the low notes, all the notes in between without having that vocal break. Now, I have a whole episode walking you through how to activate and master your mixed voice easily. So I'm going to cue that up as next for you, and I'm going to link it in the description down below. My invitation to you would be to go and click that link so that we can keep this conversation going. You're going to notice that once you can master your mixed voice, singing past the break is not an issue anymore. So this is the logical next step to go and develop your mixed voice. So I'll see you in that episode. Thank you so much for having been here, for having spent the time here together. I'm looking forward to do it again really soon. And I'm looking forward to see you in this next episode. Talk soon. Bye.